Come on, you guys. Come on. Let's go. Let's go. Now, we accomplished what we set out to do, and we've now booked a place in this year's semi-final of the FA Cup. But I have to admit, I feel like every time I've done this celebration this season, I do feel some shamelessness every single time, because this is yet again another game where we needed some luck to go our way to eventually get this result. Because even though we saw some great individual performances and some great game moments at times, my God, we all can't forget the fact that we're playing an end-to-end game going toe-to-toe against a championship team. I still feel like there's parts of our game which are especially poor, and the fact that we nearly blew a 2-goal lead and in the end needed Leicester to get a man sent off to get a result in this game. We can be happy with the result because we've booked a semi-final spot, but we can't get too gassed and too excited because this team has a long way to go. But before I discuss some of those moments, come on, we're all feeling the excitement of how this game ended. In particular, that incredible goal from Noni Madueke right near the end, and the introduction of Carney Chukwuemeka. And I have to start off this review properly by praising young Carney Chukwuemeka, because I'm starting to feel like Pochettino. If you want to secure your job and your career here, it's time now that Carney now is at the epicenter of your ideas. Now, if there was one player this season I felt so unlucky for, like the brochure of this season has been Carney, because he started the season in great form. He was a first team star in the team, and the injury came at the absolute worst time. But today, my friends, yes, even though I know we played against 10 men, I want to focus on Carney's high game IQ. The goal he scored, that 1-2 goal, it looks simplistic. We've seen it all before, but when you consider the lack of intelligence in this team in terms of our lack of control, our lack of penetrating spaces at the right time, finding that rhythm, finding that connection, I feel like Carney is that connective player in the final third that is desperately needed, because he makes sense of moments in games. He knows when to hold onto the ball to allow runners in front of him. He knows when to time his runs inside the box. He knows how to do combination plays as well too, to attack spaces and open up even more spaces. It's these types of details that we criminally lack with this overpowered, like super fast, no intelligence attack that we seem to play with these days. And there's no surprise to me that when Carney finally came on, I felt confident that, you know what, we're probably going to win this game now, because I know exactly what this young kid's going to bring. I feel like there's so many details I can go into about his game, but one of the things I really liked, which I actually picked up from Sebastian Chapeau on Twitter, is the fact that Carney knows how to expertly release a ball. When it feels like he's about to get tackled, that's the moment he's waiting for before he releases that ball. And I think this was personified in that goal he scored to make it 3-2. Excellent 1-2. Opens his body up and has the composure to hit it, of course, bottom right corner. I feel like Carney now has to start playing. In my opinion, as I said in my review, my preview, I wanted him to start this game. I didn't feel like this was a game that Mudryk had to play as a 10. I wanted to see Mudryk out wide, because I thought Raheem Sterling, he had to have an impact off the bench today, because his form has been down. And I'll be discussing Raheem Sterling later on in this review. I feel like this review might be a little bit of a long one, because there's so many things to talk about in this game today. But I just felt like Poch, starting Carnes as a 10, adding more bodies in midfield, adding that intelligence in the final third, giving Cole Palmer to someone to play with too. This was the move to make. So I think right now we have to start seeing Carney ahead of Sterling and even Mudryk if it actually requires that. And obviously, real quick too, Madueke, super goal. Let's not forget, this guy is more of an inside forward winger who is known for his goal scoring exploits with PSV. I feel like at times he's just too far away from the goal to affect the game in that aspect like he wants to. And, after seeing how he ended the game, is there an argument that with the inconsistencies of Sterling and Mudryk and co, that maybe it is time now for Pochettino to start thinking about giving minutes to your Chukwuemekas and your Maduekes alongside your Cole Palmers? Is this the move to make right now? You guys, comment below. Would you like to see something like this? But of course, my friends, as I said, when the game went down to 10 men, we had full control and it was important. Leicester took off all their winger threat. they were only, parking the bus and hoping to get to penalties realistically. So even though it was a bit of a small bus to, get through, we were able to do that in the end. But I feel like now that I've got some of the positives out of the way, I guess we can discuss how this overall game went, because, I feel like I've said this before, but I've always advocated for wanting to see a Pochettino entrust in the youth, because I feel like when I watch us play, we do so many things wrong in game, like players not getting the right runs correct, not doing 1-2s when they should, not helping out each other, and most importantly, not communicating. We don't communicate enough on the field. That I felt like our best chance of winning games is to win games 3-2. But the fact that, we're doing this against championship opposition, it does put things into perspective a little bit. And, I'm sorry, but, our inability to control the game, to have that type of intelligence, to slow the play down at times, to just regroup, to, drop our lines back a little bit at times, to ride out moments. I just feel like we just play on auto attack time and time again. Yes, it's needed at times, but the fact that this isn't something that's been improved upon during the season hurts, because I've been advocating since the start of the season, let's play this way from the start, because if we do that, at least we get confidence in front of goal, and then Pochettino can gradually fine-tune the areas of weakness in the team. It feels like at the start of the season, we played a more controlled possession game, which wasn't working, and now we're going back to doing what we should have done right from the start. So at least we're getting goals. That is the positive. But my God, we are a team that can't control niche, that doesn't communicate, that doesn't do anything. And the goals we conceded in the second half, I'm looking at Disasi, because I felt like from the moment he played, I just felt like mentally he was not concentrating, he was not in tune with the game. There was a few moments in that first half when he's unmarked, free space to play any ball he wants. He has the quality to pass, we know this. And you're not finding Malo Gusto with simple balls over the top to release him. I mean, come on. Or at times that miscommunication between him and the striker where, he's constantly playing the wrong pass at the wrong time. And sometimes some of the passes inviting pressure to the fullbacks, where we lost some possessions throughout this game in the wide areas because Disasi is inviting too much pressure. It wasn't a great game. And there's no surprise to me that in the end, he played a big moment for the incredible own goal that was scored. But I wouldn't even just exclusively say that this is all Disasi's fault. I would also say it comes down to Robert Sanchez, who, since coming back from injury, he looks a shadow of whatever semi-decent form he was showing, because he was giving Pete Kepa in goal today. And I'm thinking, what the hell is going on? These two should have communicated. Maybe Sanchez didn't have to be that high up out of his goal, to expect to receive a back pass from an under pressure Disasi. So it's these types of details that constantly ruins any small good things we do in games. And I think to myself, how do we eventually get past them? I'm really not too sure, to be fair with you. It does feel like restructuring this team is still needed, but maybe Pochettino now needs to start making better decisions to help this team. And I guess maybe this is where I have some of my thoughts and opinions with the attack today. And I think, sadly, one of the players that really defines a lot of the things we did wrong today, I would say, was Raheem Sterling. Now, yes, he got the assist, of course, for Cole Palmer to make it 2-0 at the end of that first half. But, I want to say this quickly. I tweeted this out during the game, but even though he's frustrated me so much this season, and even though I've said things like he was the guy I never wanted us to sign, because I felt like I was expecting this Raheem Sterling decline to come, because I felt like he was getting worse at Man City. That doesn't take away the fact that I can't maybe sympathise a bit for him, considering, the adversities he's faced in this country in terms of racism, the press, accusations against his character. It's been a lot he's had to deal with since he was young, right? So I'm never going to be one of those guys that gets excited or happy when players aren't performing, because I want my team to win. So I want everyone to perform. It really is that simple. But it really does feel like right now, listen, Poch has backed him, he supported him, he's given him those minutes, even when his form has been off. But I just think that you've seen a player now where the confidence is that low, that he needs to be an impact player from now until the end of this season. He can't be starting games now. I'm sorry. I think, some of the moments that which, Sterling, for those time runs in behind, he was thrown goal on 2 occasions. He got it wrong completely. This was bread and butter for a player like Raheem Sterling at one point. And most importantly too, the penalty which he missed, which we could have maybe had a bigger lead in that first half. Now, I'm not angry at Cole Palmer. How I saw the situation was the team are backing Raheem Sterling. That's the family spirit that Pochettino fosters within the squad. And I think Palmer thought, Raz, you know what, take this pen, get that confidence up, bro. So you've been there for me since I was young. Here's your moment. And sadly, Sterling's been getting spoon-fed a lot of moments to build his confidence, and it's not happening right now. So I think after seeing his game today, I think he has to be starting off the bench right now. I think eventually he'll get sold at the end of the season because I don't think long term will be adding too much for us. But at the same time, I'm not going to get disrespectful and get happy about the decline because I'm not that type of guy. So starting today, I know you guys have thoughts and opinions. Let's keep it respectful. But how are you feeling about Sterling? Let us know in the comments. But I have to say, the way we play is exciting. It is end-to-end. But other than attacking transitions, the lack of progression of ideas and anything else in our game is it explains why we're mid-table. And it explains why we were going toe-to-toe against a championship team. And sadly, it will come back to Pochettino because for myself, it's not that Pochettino's ideas are bad. I don't criticize him for that. I think my main critique of Pochettino has been the management part in terms of the decision making, in terms of knowing what to do at the right time, knowing how to develop this team. I feel like even now when you're seeing Mudryk now playing as a 10, I think long term he will never be a 10. He's literally only playing there because maybe Poch feels like this is the only area in the game in which Mudryk can have some slight effects of what we do. But that for me is another example of how there is, no strong development that we've seen gradual improvements from the start of the season to now. That's what you should be seeing. That's how it works in football. So I think there's definitely question marks around what's happening. But as I'm saying, I think he can maybe boost his chances of staying here if he makes those bold calls now. And I think maybe you look towards your Khans, you look towards those England under-21 guys, you give them those minutes now to try and define what they can do in this team. Because I think you've given so many minutes to others, even like a Mudryk too. I'm sorry, I keep saying, with Mudryk, I'm still going to keep my patience. I'm not going to lose that. I'm going to give him even the whole 24-25 season. I'm going to judge him harshly in the 25-26 season because I think there is a talent here, but I think to myself, is Poch doing the best to cultivate and get the best out of it? I can see how he's trying to, but is it always working? I feel like simplify the game for a guy like Mudryk. You have to keep it simple for him because he's gone up to a higher level where there's greater emphasis on tactical understanding, team plays, etc., which he hasn't been used to because he was mainly that wide outlet for Shakhtar where he had free license to do what he wants to do. And I just feel like, playing him on the right, in the middle, on the left, playing him without support too, it's not really working. And I just feel like maybe for Mudryk, simplifying the game, keeping that left wing spot open for him right now, give him that Sterling trust that you've had and let him maybe have that run of games now. But that doesn't take away from the fact that Mudryk doesn't affect the game enough. I'm sorry, he doesn't. Outside of a few good moments at the little nutmeg and he's carrying the ball up the field, you look to play the pass to Nico. I'm thinking to myself, why are you not taking the shot then? That is the best moment. With your talent, this is what you have to do at an individual level to really harness and show what you can do. And he doesn't do that. And this is why I get frustrated with Mudryk because I'm sorry, 1 or 2, 3 nice moments, any player can do that. But he doesn't affect the game enough. And I think second half, I can't remember much of anything he did. And I need to see more. And if you can't show that right now, you use Chukwuemeka, who actually came on instantly, probed, used high game IQ, and really showed exactly what is needed and what is expected. But obviously, before I go on, let's discuss the goals real quick. Of course, Leicester City, listen, it was an end-to-end game. I thought they were playing a bit suicidal football at times because the right channel we had free time and time again. Cole Palmer slotting in passes for fun with no pressure. Malo Gusto, yet again, one of these players of this season. He should be playing at a higher level. This guy is incredible and he makes things happen for us time and time again. And we get the goals from basically creating chances at the far post against Leicester City. I thought Nicholas Jackson spearheaded the attack quite well. Yes, he missed that chance near the end of the second half, but he was off balance. And you know what I see it as? He's tired. He's got no strikers that can come on to sub him off to give him minutes to rest, and he's constantly has to do sprints and sprints and sprints and sprints and sprints throughout the game to get him behind a lot of passes that he doesn't even get to because the service ain't great. I can see why you'll get a bit sloppy as the game goes on, so I'm not going to stick it on him for that. But, you know, he did have good moments today, getting the assist for Cucurella and winning the penalty for Raheem Sterling as well too. So it was another promising game from him, and of course, you know, Cole Palmer, far post again, and that was a great move. But the goals we conceded is Mavidi. Sometimes it's a bit hard. I think it was a spectacular individual effort from him. And, you know, I'm okay with conceding goals like that. I guess in the context in which that equaliser came from, it was harsh. But I just felt like even when that moment came, you know, we were inviting pressure. There was mistakes. The build-up play was getting disrupted. You know, I feel like at times, is our build-up that effective when... You know, I get what we're trying to do. We're trying to like funnel the opposition's press to one side of the field to then quickly release the ball to the opposite side, right, to catch them out. But we, for some reason, just don't do it well enough. And I think players can definitely take accountability for not executing what I'm sure is getting worked upon quite a lot during these training drills, right? But when you're seeing that we still struggle a lot, maybe find some better methods to help us play out from the back. Now, it doesn't help that we didn't have Enzo, because I thought today Gallagher was one of his worst games of the season, which is okay because he's been pretty consistent in my opinion. But without having Enzo there to make sense of these, you know, passing routines, sometimes we invite too much pressure. And when a championship team feels their best way of playing against us is to press us high, is to push men forward, is to commit, is to try and win that midfield battle, I think it also speaks volumes about how we're seeing tactically as a team, right? So, my friends, listen, there's goods, there's bads, and I think that's just been the story of the season, but at least we have a semi-final place booked. And listen, if we want European football, we have to win the FA Cup, and destiny is in our hands right now. So, my friends, I hope you guys enjoyed. Share your thoughts and opinions. I'm Nini FC, this is Blue Lions TV. I'll see you guys later with some more videos. Cool.